What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are doing another kind of Madden experiment on franchise today, and it's one that could be relevant because we don't know, but the trade could go down literally like before this video comes up, but hopefully it doesn't. But of course, we're going to see where we think, or where Madden thinks, the best place for Deshaun Watson to land is. Now, there's 3 to 4 teams on this list. I'm kind of just not going to add the Falcons. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. There's there's a decent chance, from what I've seen, that he could actually land there. And I know it's kind of like, okay, well, then why wouldn't you do them? I'm just going to be honest. That roster is just not ready to win right now. They're not even close to win right now. So what's really the point in simulating them? As, it's just going to be by far the worst. Whereas, even with Carolina, as long as they keep Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, he's like a huge dynamic playmaker. I know you got Kyle Pitts, but that's like all you have. Calvin Ridley's like gone for a whole year. Who knows what happens after that? I mean, 2 years of not playing for the team. I don't even know. But we're also going to be trying to make the trade ourselves. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, but he is only a star dev. I'm not going to boost his ratings yet. Of course, the thing EA was doing throughout the year, because they were trying to, distance themselves from him in the spotlight, is they just dropped his awareness a ton. You could see he's a 73 awareness player, yet if you look at his ratings, he's still insanely talented. I mean, that's about the best 84 overall I've ever seen in the game. But we're going to try to trade for him. We're going to see maybe if we can keep it realistic and get good value. Once again, the problem with this is we can only put 3 players or 3 things on the trade list, and hell, even nowadays, even mid-tier players sometimes go for more than 3 pieces, right? Like a 4th, a 5th, a 1st, and John Boy from the Dolphins. I don't freaking know, dude. But of course, it's ironic that I mentioned Dolphins, because that was like the team that this was, that Watson was kind of linked to early on. But speaking of linked to things, I have seen some Brian Burns talks. Once again, there's a lot of players on the Panthers that are, kind of easy trade pieces, as the dead hit's not even there, or it's just not very high. It's ironic. I hover over the one guy that they can't really get rid of because his hit is actually insanely high. But some of the guys on the list could be Jeremy Chin. Robbie Anderson is not one of those guys. Brian Burns, of course, technically DJ Moore, but if I'm the Panthers and if I'm, Deshaun Watson's side, I'm trying as hard as I can to try and keep the offense there. Once again, maybe not the best roster in the world, but a lot of young guys that can definitely develop. Whereas, like, the Falcons, they're just in such a hole. And honestly, to my knowledge, I can't even remember them really grabbing any big-name free agents, have they? Like, they re-signed Jake Matthews and Younghoe Koo. To my knowledge, that's the only thing they've done. I mean, they're not in the greatest cap situation, I suppose, but man, that team is an ultra rebuild. I'm really honestly hoping they don't get Deshaun Watson, because they're really high up there for a team to use in franchise. Like, they've got Pitts, and that's kind of it. Like, obviously they got AJ Terrell, they've got a couple other names, but as far as like OP names go, it's really just Pitts, and then Calvin Ridley's pretty decent when he comes back, but they're really high up there if they don't get Watson for me, maybe even my team to use. But for this trade, we're going to obviously attempt first-round picks. I think if you're Carolina, you're trying your best to avoid getting rid of key playmaking pieces like Brian Burns. But I also think if you're Houston, you got to get a player out of this. The Panthers, I believe, have pick 6. No second or third, unfortunately, this year. So, honestly, if I am the Texans, I mean, really, what can you fight for? Because I just think Carolina is not going to budge on Burns, but they got to trade one of these players. There's no way that they're just going to get away without trading one of these players, even though Russell Wilson that was a steal. I'm definitely more willing to get rid of Jeremy Chin if I'm the Panthers. I don't know. This team, once again, they didn't really, keep any of these corners. They went from, in Madden, the most OP cornerback team going to just kind of bad. Once again, this could be another team that, especially if they don't get Deshaun Watson, that could be up on my list. Again, they were last year, and then they started just developing gods and grabbing great players. But Jeremy Chin in 2 first rounds, I mean, that's just not even super fair. But I also don't know Deshaun Watson's value, because once again, he's still got, the legal stuff doesn't, just because it's gone right now, doesn't mean it can't come back up. I don't know how you find evidence, because once again, just because he's cleared doesn't mean that it's the truth. I'm not going to go around saying, oh, well, he's cleared. Those women are just greedy, money hungry. Like, it's very hard to prove that kind of stuff. So if some kind of proof comes out, you just don't, you'd never know. He hasn't played football in a while. I'd still say his value is above Russell Wilson, but there's not really much we can do to trade this. I'm going to just give them Jeremy Chinn and 2 firsts. I'm thinking this could be 2 firsts, Jeremy Chinn, and a second and a third down the line. But once again, draft picks aren't really a huge part of this actual experiment because once again, it doesn't really matter because we're not using the draft picks. But Deshaun Watson is now on the team. Jeremy Chinn is gone, unfortunately. But once again, if you're going to choose between Burns and Chinn, I think you just have to, you have to choose that guy. The real question also is, will Deshaun Watson choose a new number? That's another interesting thing, isn't it? But yeah, this team is definitely in a bit of a worse spot than they were. Lost a lot of players to free agency, without a doubt. J.C. Horn was looking promising before the injury, though. So we're assuming, he can pick it up and be a solid number 2 to Mr. Well, I don't even know. It's a Mr. Henderson. He might just be the number 1 right out the gate. But let's see if Deshaun Watson can do anything with this team. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe I will do a Falcons one because, man, this team, I think of Panthers, I'm thinking, okay, super developed, or not super developed, but super high development team. But, man, they're kind of rough. I think he comes into the game with superstar development trade. His overall is back up to, an 89-ish, and, that's what we're looking at. We are going to be sticking with the Panthers playbook and the scheme and all that, because otherwise it's kind of irrelevant. I might as well just go straight to one of the better teams, use that, and then be like, okay, no one's beating this. But we're going to keep that scheme because I would assume even with Deshaun Watson, you're still going to kind of build around that a little bit. You maybe open things up a little bit more, but a lot of these teams are kind of, the schemes aren't terrible. But as far as, the channel goes, if you guys have any other, off-season kind of, free agency video ideas similar to this, maybe, I'm not going to do something for Von Miller or something like that, but you guys want to see more, talks about the signings that have actually happened. As you can see here, the Panthers actually missed the playoffs, but that's fine, because once again, the Panthers are still kind of developing. You see the Buccaneers missed, which is, would just be a huge shocker. The Falcons are like, so, what was that about us not being good enough? Hello? But yeah, they're like a 72 overall. So we'll see. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below if there's some sort of video idea you want to see. I don't know. I obviously once, more free agents go and the big list of big names is kind of down to nothing, we'll do a video on how all these new players play on their new teams. But if there's anything else, let me know. And while you're down there, maybe subscribe if you're new. Maybe leave a like if you enjoy the video. Brian Hoyer. Wait, what are these stats? The hell? It was just a 1 week thing. But Deshaun Watson, 37 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 43-48 for yards. Obviously very, very effective. Looking at his last season in Houston. It's 2 years ago. Obviously, it's not going to look like that here, but very similar. Very similar indeed. You're getting what you get. You were hoping that's what you were going to get, and you did, so it's a worthy trade. Christian McCaffrey, very good, obviously healthy for once, but we'll see if that actually happens in real life. Christian McCaffrey just killed it, depending on touchdowns, maybe even MVP of the league. Sack totals, obviously, Brian Burns, that guy. Interceptions. Let's actually take a look over at the Texans, see how Mr. Jeremy Chinn played. I'd imagine he started 76 tackles, 3 interceptions, maybe a forced fumble. Yeah, 1 forced fumble. Nothing crazy, but, it's an addition. It's better than what Seattle got for players, at least. Noah Fant's decent, but he didn't really kill it. Watson at number 3, that's really good. That's obviously value and then some. The real question is, what is his actual, I just don't know what his trade value is. Because once again, he hasn't played in so long. Once again, the legal stuff could come back. I just don't know. And I'm still a little surprised that Christian McCaffrey wasn't up here. Was he? I just had to look again. I had to do a double take. But, yeah, Von Miller is still... Wait. Oh, to be fair, this isn't an updated roster. This hasn't been updated for 2 days, I think. Deshaun Watson... the best quarterback in the NFC now, which obviously means that they hit on that trade. Unfortunately, though, it will not be a playoff season. I'm gonna grab these stats just to see, because once again, playoffs, Super Bowl, that's a team thing, but performance-wise, individually is a little bit more, once again, individual. Winner of the Super Bowl in this realm, I will definitely tell you, is not going to be the damn Texans. That's for sure. But it is going to be the Chiefs. I mean, it's just the same thing every time now. Could have also made an argument that Darnold would have been a part of the trade, but, it's a bit of a big hit. I believe they tagged him, if I'm not mistaken. And, I mean, they probably would be willing to if it's going to get them Deshaun Watson, assuming they have the cap space, which I imagine they do. Otherwise, look what's happening, letting all these free agents go, and you're broke. Like, where's all the money, But yeah, that could be a part of it. We'll see. All right, for now, the team that's a little questionable, but I get they have a lot of trade value, and it's about who's interested and what you think you can get back. I obviously know that, thinking about what you're going to have to play against is a huge factor, but you also do have to do what's best for your team. If you're getting a trade offer from the Falcons and there's no good players involved and it's just a couple of draft picks, even if it's for the next 4 years, would you value that over, let's say, a 25, 26-year-old that's going to come in and help right now for the next, half decade? I don't know. It's really tough, but interconference, obviously questionable. I don't know what they think. Maybe they think Watson isn't the guy, and that's why they're trading him, but they're like, hey, there's some value there. But obviously, some names here that can be traded. If you wanted to, you could get rid of Batonio. Will they? I don't know. I mean, the hit's a little big, but it's still manageable, obviously. Wyatt Teller, even, but I mean, that's just too much of a hit, I think. Baker would almost undoubtedly be a part of the trade. Kareem Hunt, I know they love their 2 running backs, but it's all about trade value. Obviously, Baker is going to be a part of this without a doubt. I know the hit's a little big, but I mean, if you're Houston, you got to get that, you got to get a quarterback back. So Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, I think they keep Kareem, but their draft picks aren't as valuable as, let's say the Panthers, obviously. Obviously, you also have to think about when Deshaun joins, the draft picks automatically mean less. So, obviously, when I put these, 2 first-round picks and Jeremy Chin for Watson, I expect way more draft picks, right? Many more first rounds, more than likely, but as far as what we can do with a 3-trade limit, I mean, Greedy Williams could be a part of this. I mean, if I'm Houston, I'm asking for 3 firsts, Baker, Greedy Williams, and then maybe Kareem Hunt if they're willing to do it, but I don't know if they would be. Once again, I just don't know his value. It's tough. I mean, even Wills is technically available. The dead hit's not crazy high. I mean, if I'm Houston, I got to get a guard out of this, but if I'm Cleveland, I'm not getting rid of my guard for that, It's just, I don't know what you do there. Just too good of a player, even though he's on the older side. So for this one, I'm just going to say Baker Mayfield, a first, and Greedy for Watson, and I think a lot more first rounds down the line. But yeah, let's bump him, put him to superstar, and see what we're at. Yeah, this is the team that's looking pretty good. Also, you would expect them to add a wide receiver in the drafts, more than likely. It's a very good team. Obviously, they got Chase Winovich. Who the hell do they trade for Chase Winovich again? Oh, yeah, Mac Wilson, which is debatable. Obviously, the Winovich trade or draft pick really didn't work out for them. Maybe in a different, more defined role, he can pick it up perhaps. But yeah, I mean, let's go into it. Once again, Browns playbook. Going to be a lot of running involved with both backs, which is why, I try to keep Kareem Hunt, but we just don't know. One of these days, we're going to assume that the team with the asset is going to be getting a very good package, whereas, with Seattle, there's still arguments that, Seattle got fleeced a little bit, but I don't know. I think pick 9 is very valuable. Russell's not that young anymore. We also seen a decline from him, so, for a guy that was seemingly wanted to go, they got something out of it, I suppose, but yeah, Seattle is kind of in a quote-unquote rebuild mode, and Cleveland does make the playoffs here. They're a team that also competes pretty high in sim. Andy Dalton, number 3. What the hell? Where even is he playing? Deshaun Watson, definitely not as good here. Coaching issues, question mark, as Watson was way worse than he was with the Panthers. Obviously not needed as much, but still you would expect better from him. Cooper was pretty bad too. Sack totals, Myles Garrett 14.5. Winovich with 12.5. The new man on campus. Seemingly enjoying his new scenery. Definitely not going to be number 3 on MVP this time. Herbert is the MVP, though. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. Houston would be laughing so hard in this one. They would love it, even though it's just 1 year and it might take more than 1 year to do well with a new scheme. But that being said, they are in the playoffs. I needed a picture of Watson in a Browns uniform, so I might as well just sim it out, watch it out. In theory, you'd probably have a worse chance of winning in this fashion. But 21-14, it's a very high-scoring game. Oh my, it is a very close game. Playoff game of the year almost. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's going to be a GG, right? Well, maybe not. What's the sitch? I'm coming in to watch. I'm not coming in to play. I imagine you have to run goal line in this situation, right? Like, how are you going to stop inches if you're not? I don't know who to be. Phillips. I'm just going to be this guy. It didn't matter. They smoked it. All right, that is something. It's a hell of a game, though. Let's see how Deshaun Watson played in the playoffs here. I mean, he technically, I wouldn't say he outplayed Mahomes, but he threw less picks than Mahomes. Obviously, the completion percentage, if you're missing a lot of throws, not completing plays, you're not getting down the field, it's just as bad as a turnover, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's a little early. First year with the Browns, they got to the playoffs, went toe-to-toe with potentially the best team in the league, so you can't really be mad if you're the Browns. Although I will say, there's going to be a lot of expectations if he comes to the Cleveland Browns that, okay, we're a quarterback away, assuming they don't trade too much to get him. And for him not to even take them to the championship or the Super Bowl, it would be a letdown. But then the pressure would mount even more for the following year. Of course, the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again, and the Packers win this time. But let's move on to, I'm going to say, the final team. I don't think we need to do the Falcons. I'm just going to be honest. Now we're here with the final team, the most likely landing spot, at least in a Deshaun Watson sense. Once again, in real life, if I'm the Texans, I'm like, okay, NFC team for sure, but team that doesn't have an insane defense, please, because I kind of want a good draft pick or draft picks going forward. Once again, if I am the Texans, I'm like, okay, you guys really don't have that good of a draft pick going forward. I'm going to be asking for Eric McCoy and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, please. I would assume the Saints would be willing to do that. Obviously, they'd be taking a big hit on that offensive line, but that's what I'm going to make the trade as. I'm going to make it a first-round pick with Eric McCoy and Gardner-Johnson. Obviously, I'd think even more draft picks would come with that, but Gardner-Johnson needs to be paid. Eric McCoy needs to be paid, so going to help them with their cap space, I suppose, as well, but once again, you don't really care about your cap space if you're just down on all these talented players, but this is just the most realistic, like, ooh, they're going to say no. Wow, that's the first time we've seen that. Don't tell me they'd be more interested in a first-round pick than the center, right? That just makes no damn sense, right? That's just kind of dumb. Okay, all right. I have heard something about Cesar Ruiz, so we're instead of the man, since we gave him 2 first rounds, we're going to give him Cesar Ruiz, even though Ruiz is actually worse off for their cap situation. I believe he's a bigger dead hit, but it is what it is. It obviously makes more sense for the Saints. They still could draft linemen. I think they'd still probably have a second or a third round pick. I don't know what the Taysom Hill contract was. I thought it was kind of guaranteed for a year or two. I know it was a super fluff contract, but still. Watson, bump his ratings. Draft a wide receiver with your first pick. Offensive lineman after that. And, obviously, best available pick. If there's a better tackle that slips, you do that. But definitely need a wide receiver. Have needed one for a while now. Safety wouldn't hurt, but it's still a good enough team across the board. And obviously you add another franchise quarterback after Drew Brees. But honestly, though, speaking of what I think is the best idea, Winston's not terrible. If he's actually out there, he's not terrible. If you can keep the rest of the team intact, I don't know, dude. I almost value keeping the squad together with Winston, who's capable enough, and just letting that defense rock, to be honest. But, it really is, what you kind of look for down the line in 5 years and whatnot. A franchise quarterback is super, super valuable, believe it or not. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that or not. And yes, you see me struggle really hard finding that damn number 4. God damn it, dude. The thing about Terron Armstead, though, once again, you can kind of clear more money and I know they cleared a ton. I think they're actually like way above the cap now. But Watson would obviously take a bit of that. I heard something about Terran Armstead coming back to the team if Watson joins or something like that, but I still don't know where they're going to pull that kind of money out. Also, I forgot to bump his awareness, didn't I? But I still don't know where they're going to pull that kind of money out to get him. Like, Terran's got to be 18 to 20 per. Watson's going to be like 30 plus per. I mean, I don't see that, but hey, who knows? Also, if any of you guys are Saints fans, why hasn't Deontay Harris developed more? I've seen like 1 or 2 games where he was looking like a god-tier receiver, and then he just didn't do more. I don't know. Well, like, what happened? Is he just not built for it, and he's just kind of like a return man? It's just strange. Playoffs would be a shock if the Saints don't make it, and they do make it, of course, with the Buccaneers at 13-4. Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson up there on the list. Looks like he may actually pass up the Panthers' Deshaun Watson, and I mean, kind of. The passer rating's definitely way lower. The completion percentage is about the same. Less touchdowns by a little. Yards are a decent bit up, but considering the surrounding talent, when you add the defense, is better than Carolina, I mean, I'm going to still give the nod to individual performance over to Carolina. I mean, it's just, he played well. I will say he is in the postseason here. So if he wins the Super Bowl or gets close, that's a bit of a nod up, you know. But, yeah, I'm going to say Carolina is the best Deshaun Watson you can get. Of course, number 8 on the list. Just not super great there. But fair enough. I mean, Carolina, Deshaun, the best personally. But a chance to make the Super Bowl. Going up against the Packers, they have a little bit better of a roster. 82 overall Saints versus 86 overall Packers. Let's see who wins. And they do win. Going up against the 15-2 Arizona Cardinals, who are only an 80 overall. Anything can happen. Except for a win. 27-0. Now that is definitely going to be a knock on Deshaun Watson's career. That is, you can't put up a single point against a team. That's what you get traded for, is to win these games or at least compete at a high level. And he just didn't compete at all. 165 yards, 1 interception. I mean, that's a half for a playoff game, not a full performance. That is really bad. And again, once again, the Cardinals, who don't even have Chandler Jones anymore, that's a pretty big L. But I suppose before we end this, no, we're not going to fill the staff. God dang it, dude. I'm not filling anything. I feel like a mom. What? Might as well see who wins the Super Bowl. It's probably the Chiefs. There's always the Chiefs in there. And the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. Who would have thought? Chiefs win another win. And it's the Buccaneers this time. I mean, I'm getting sick of these teams. But that's pretty much going to be it. Where do you guys think Deshaun Watson will go? Once again, I could have showed the Falcons. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. Once again, if you guys get him, that's a bigger win than being in a freaking video, right? And then I think the Eagles have officially dropped out, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. But yeah, that's about it. I got a notification from someone I knew, and I was like, don't let it be Deshaun Watson. It was something about the Packers. I was like, don't, please. As long as it's you know, many hours from now, that's fine. But yeah, as of right now, no trade. Don't get mad at me, okay? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you need. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, Jeromepkr Plays, and then twitch.tv/Jeromepkr for streams. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for the next video. But until next video, see